Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike White with Baby Monkey Studios, and today we're going to talk about adding a third column to the ideal responsive template. This template is getting more and more popular, which I love to see, and we're going to add a third column to it today. So those of you that are familiar with this template already know, but I'm just going to show you. There's a third column that's usually the best sellers menu over here on the right. But on every other page, the third column goes away. And some of you are more used to that traditional layout and would like to have the third column. So we're going to add that and maybe adjust this column a little bit. This is going to be one of those tutorials where I walk you through my process. So you're going to get to see me work. I haven't done this before. I've had lots of requests for it. One of the other challenges is to keep it responsive. So we're going to be addressing that. So I think there's a lot to learn from watching along with this tutorial. And I hope to keep it short and sweet, but I know we're going to probably take some wrong turns and twists. So this is more of a, instead of just an answer to the perfect way to do this, it's more a, let me show you how I would work on this if I were given this task, which I have been, thankfully. Okay, let's get started. So I'd say the first task is to actually establish the right bar. It's not going to work out with the CSS at first, but we need to at least, have a starting point, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to look in here in the ideal responsive skin and look in the customer directory, and we see this left bar.tpl. And typically in older versions or in other templates, it's actually, we have a left bar and a right bar.tpl. So I'm just going to create right bar TPL right here in this directory. Oh, and I got the XC unlock. Let me take care of that. Yeah, I like to work right in the Xcart admin and the templates. It's just a style that I've always worked with. And so I had to put a file XC unlock in order to make editing possible. Okay, so we've created our right bar.tpl. Our next move would be go to home.tpl and look for where to include that right bar. So searching through this file, I don't see the left bar included here. I'm just an old school guy. It used to be in home.tpl, I believe. Now it looks like there's this include file customer/content.tpl. So that's going to be the next place that I check. Oh, content.tpl. Let's just see if they have the left bar included here. So searching through the file, I see div ID left bar surrounded by this main not equals cart or cart empty. So that's an if statement saying if it's not the cart and it's not the checkout, show the left bar. And I want my right bar to follow those same rules. I don't want to show it on the checkout page. So I'm just going to add it right here. I just copied that block. We'll change this to right bar. And we'll include customer right bar.tpl. So now we need some content for our right bar. And in the case of this client, we're going to take some of the blocks that are over here on the left side and put them on the right. One I know we're doing is this new arrivals, news, and possibly this major suppliers block. So I'm going to pop into the left bar.tpl and look for the code that I want. I know we're going to do this new arrivals block. I think we're also going to do the manufacturers block, which they call major suppliers. Let's look for manufacturers. Okay, there it is. So I'm just going to grab this line of code right here and hit Control X to get it out of this file and save. And then go back over to our right bar.tpl and paste that in. That should be enough for us to get started. So we'll save that. So refreshing the page, I see the major supplier block moved right over, amazingly. I'm probably going to work on one of these categories pages just so I'm working on a page that doesn't have a third column. I'll get it looking right here and then go back and work on the home page if necessary. Okay, so now we're going to style this. And I'm going to work on the styling of this and position this where I want it, and then work on this bit. So it's getting some styles, probably from other, from common files or common style sheets. I doubt there's any actual styles assigned in this template for the right bar. And to more easily see where styles are applied, I'm just going to go over here to General Settings, and I'm going to turn off the Speed Up tool for CSS. So that's going to prevent those CSS files from being combined, and we'll actually see what CSS file it's defined in. Okay, so it's defined in main.css. Now, it could be the best move to actually go and edit main.css or remove the styles from there. It would actually make your website smaller, less of a download. But in my case, I'm actually just applying everything. I'm more concerned with not editing core files and keeping everything in the template and the skin. And I've actually created this extra CSS style sheet, which if you'd like to know how to do that, I simply defined, I copied over service css.tpl from the common files and added it in here, and just added this little load defer file css litchfield.css so for me to do my custom CSS work in. And so I'm just going to add my code to this CSS file because I'm certain that it's loaded last and should take priority over everything that's came before it. So I'm back over here on the front side, and I think this width could be 180 pixels. So we'll try that. And I don't want it to have this right margin. It looks like that's being controlled right there. So, I might try to change this to 0 and have it suck all the way over here to the right side. And then I'm just going to redefine some of these. I don't need all of them, but in this case I'm going to just copy all of it so it's all in one place when I'm working. And I'm just going to paste that in right here to my custom CSS file. Add a little spacing just for my own mental health. And save that. So we'll refresh. We're hoping there won't be any change. It's just the way I had it marked up in my browser style sheet. So I think that we've handled, the major obstacle here. I'm just investigating how it looks when it goes responsive, or when it gets smaller. Yeah, I see that right bar is still, hanging out over here where it's not supposed to. So we definitely have some work to do at that level. I'm going to keep working at what I see as the normal size for this web page. Get everything looking good, and then address the other sizes. So we need to shrink this inner portion. I'm just going to inspect where I expect to be close to the top of this center main, looks like, as the div that we're going to be actually affecting here. So looking over here at the styles, we can see that the margin is set, and we have a 270 pixel left margin, which you can tell that by hovering over it and seeing the orange area above. So we need to apply a right margin, and that would be the second. That's going to be too much. I think we need 190 pixels. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this and bring that over into my style sheet. Paste it. And refresh. And now we have our right margin for this central content. So let's see how this is working on the front page. And we can pretty much assume the bestsellers menu is still back behind there. It's just not being displayed. I'm just going to put a display none on this whole right bar and see where my best sellers has gotten to. Okay, it's shoved itself down. There it is. That's not affecting it at all. It shoves itself down because we've shrunk the width of this content area. Okay, so to make this work, with the bestsellers menu, we're going to need to edit a different file. We're going to come over here to Ideal Responsive. We could use, I know where these are. We could obviously use Webmaster Mode to determine which template it was, but I'm pretty sure it's this welcome template. Okay, and there's a few things in here that we need to edit. We have this div class welcome cell if active modules bestsellers and $bestsellers and config bestsellers.bestsellers menu. So in other words, if there's bestsellers, then this extra CSS gets applied and moves the welcome cell over. Okay, so we really don't want that behavior anymore because we're going to put our bestsellers right in the right bar. So I've just commented out that section, and we're going to look for where the bestsellers module is called, and there it is. And I'm going to copy everything with this if statement because it's just saying if there's the module's active and there are bestsellers assigned. We'll just take that right out. Well, might be a better practice to comment it. So I'll just copy it, comment it out, and leave my tracks for anybody else that might be working on this in the future. Okay, so let's pop back over and add that new little snippet to our rightbar.tpl. We'll put it up at the top, so it's very similar to the layout that we had before. We'll get rid of some of this extra spacing. All right. I like that better. Let's save that. And we'll refresh and just see how this has worked out for us here. And I can tell right away that the bestsellers is not showing up. So there must be something that we're missing here. We need to go back and look at that welcome.tpl a little bit harder. Ah, there we have it. There's actually a if statement right here. And I'm just going to take all of that and bring that into our new template. What this is doing, it looks like, is just assigning the var bestsellers. So our if statement in our other template is not working because this if statement is not contained in that template. While I'm here, I also see we've got some more if statements here, and it's kind of strange to just do this without knowing what is going to be affected by it. But rather than figure it all out, I'm just going to comment that out too. So let's get rid of that, and let's go back to our other template, and we will just include that if statement. See, without that, this other if statement is probably resolving to false because of this part right here, and $bestsellers. So like I said, I'm going to show you my mistakes as well in this little tutorial. Let's save that file and see how that reacts. Okay, and there we have it. We've got the bestsellers showing up just like we expected, but it's not formatted correctly. It's not staying within its confines. So I think what we need to do here is probably remove this div. This div right here is most likely only used for the welcome template. And so we'll just totally get rid of it and make this bestsellers menu react just like a normal menu template in the sidebar. Let's see what that. Yep. That's given us the spacing we wanted, and it's sized it appropriately. Obviously, this is cut off up here, but we're going to change that name later. Actually, my client has decided to not use the bestsellers at all, so I was really just doing that for your all's benefit, in case you needed to add that back in, and that's kind of a little bit of a beast to do. So I'm turning that off for now, but you all know how to get that showing up right. And it's all set and ready to go if my client ever decides to use that again. So just practice and due diligence there. Okay, so for the most part, I believe at bigger sizes, our content is going to lay out just the way we want it. I'm stretching the page and it seems to be working great. And even at this reduced size here, everything seems to be in order. But when we get smaller than this, and we hit that 900 pixel range, I think we're going to run into problems there. Yeah, so we've just got definitely something that needs to be addressed in the CSS at this point. So this is where, working with the responsive layout is going to really come into play. See, we've redefined this center main in our CSS. We can see previously in altskin.css with this media query applied, there's this this style right here where it reduces actually the margin on this side from 270 pixels to 195. So we're going to just take all of this code right here, including the media query, copy it, and we'll add that to our custom CSS screen sheet. Okay, so we need a little curly brace here, and let me get this a little bigger. We need another curly brace down here, because this rule is only applied when these conditions are met. Okay, so let's save that. Oh, actually, well, let's adjust it first. So this has added our left margin that we want. And I think we're going to just attempt to put the same right margin. I think that's really going to put the squeeze on our content. We'll just have to see how that lays out. So we'll put that in there and just check it out. Okay, so we're refreshing. We're going to shrink it down. And it actually seems to be working out pretty well. Yeah, I think we can leave that like that. Shrink it a bit more and see how this all is behaving at the smallest size. Ooh, it's definitely messed up there. So we're going to have to apply some styles for the smaller style sheet. And I can see down here that we've got another max width 767 pixels. So this is like the mobile size. So we'll bring that into our equation here. And we'll put that back in our style sheet. Space things out right. Okay. So we'll save that and we'll go back and look at how it's behaving. Refresh. And it's actually working the way I'd expect it to now. Don't see any issues unless I'm missing them. But I do think that our right column is still needing some styles applied to it. So we're going to borrow from the left bar, or attempt to at least. So I'm just going to right click right here, inspect this, and look for the left bar. There we go. And it's got a position static. And it's also got these width settings and float settings. And I think those are the ones that we really need. We might try putting that position static on it too. Let's copy this. And then let's read this up here. Yeah, this is also with the max width, 767 pixels. And I don't see that being overwritten down here. So we'll probably pop that in as well. There's usually a reason for stuff, so we'll stick with it. All right. So inside, I didn't need to copy that whole media query again because it's already defined up here. So we'll just get rid of that. Put a little spacing on these. Get rid of some of that wasted space there. Just keeping this all legible. All right, and we'll add our little position static. Okay, let's save that and see how it's acting. Refresh. We'll shrink everything down. Oh, and we didn't change where it's referencing. This is still applying to left bar, so we obviously need to change that to right bar. And right bar. All right. Get to see exactly how big of a dork I am. And now it seems to be laying out the way we want it to. Okay, so I think that wraps it up. It's a little bit longer than I'd like the tutorial to be, but hopefully you learned quite a bit about working with the responsive layout.